poured hot water on the legs of a paralyzed old man, and the old man didn't feel a thing. He had just gotten out of prison and came here to apply for a job as a caretaker, just to mix up an unemployment certificate, and he was given a hard time by this disabled old man. The old man asked him what his dream was, and he said he wanted to have a beautiful female secretary like the old man. As a result, the old man said he would hire him, although he didn't want to serve anyone. He was moved after seeing his room. He just doesn't have a place to stay these days. Besides, there's a luxurious bathtub. He brought the old man's secretary to his room to take a bath. The old man was a paralyzed, totally unconscious from the neck down kind of guy. He massages the old man, puts on his stockings and feeds him. In the evening, he had someone massage him, and the old man screamed in the pager for a long time, since he ignored him. In the morning, he takes the old man for a walk. He tries to drive the old man's Maserati, but is blocked by a Mercedes. He laughed and went up and punched the old man. "Can you block the road with money?" The old man stared at a puddle of blood for 2 hours at a painting exhibition and said he wanted a snack. He didn't give it to the old man and laughed at him. Then the old man meets an old friend, and the old man says, "I have no sympathy," and tells him to fire him quickly. And the old man said all he wanted was no sympathy. At night, the old man was having a hard time with the pager. He didn't want to care, but he went to check it out anyway. Feeling that the old man was dying, he got a cold towel to ease the old man's mind, and luckily the boss was fine. He asked the old man if he was still okay in that area, and the old man told him he couldn't feel anything from the neck down. In order to make the old man comfortable, he took the old man to massage his ears, and the old man was instantly refreshed. When he was walking on the road, the old man's wheelchair didn't seem to be fast enough, so he got someone to install a new motor for the old man, and the old man immediately became the prettiest boy on the street. After he'd had a good time, the old man looked at him differently and had to drag him to some kind of opera, but he didn't understand why they were playing a tree singing, and he laughed so hard his stomach hurt. Staying in his mansion bored, he also painted a painting. Everyone said it was not bad. He asked his secretary how much the painting was worth, and she surprised him by slapping him. So it seems he still has work to do. In fact, the old man still has emotional needs. Every night is writing love letters to a female pen pal, saying something about usual like eyes looking at the light. He thinks this is what kind of bullshit love letters are. The secretary dislikes it outright and says it's much more advanced than his behavior. He snatched the letter and dialed the number on it, then put it in the old man's ear. The old man couldn't resist, so he had to keep reading. That night, the old man threw a birthday party. Everyone was chatting in the house, and he secretly saw the old man trying to help him sell the painting and lying to the old man's friend that it was painted by an artist and was ready to sell for 11,000 euros. It almost makes him laugh. It's not that easy to fool. The old man let him listen to the orchestra, trying to cultivate his classical selves, but he still couldn't get excited after half a day's effort. So, he simply put on a hi-fi song directly and danced in the living room. Music really does not discriminate between low and high, and the servant soon found the feeling and danced with him. Then, everyone still listened to classical music together. He had no choice but to find a seat next to the female secretary and show her kindness. Hey, she also touched something, suddenly complimented him on the fit of his clothes, saying something about how he looked a bit like a star. Ha 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 ha. Boys learn from this. Persevere and it will come back to you. The more they talked, the happier they got, but the old man started to worry again because the other guy wanted his picture. He sends a handsome picture, and soon the other guy wants to meet for a date. They helped him choose his clothes, and he was a bit nervous. On the day of the date, he runs away, and the old man tells him to pick him up directly. Then he gets on a private plane, and he's nervous because he's never been on an airplane before. The old man surprises him by giving him 11,000 euros for successfully selling his painting. He was so happy and thought it was a perfect day, but he didn't realize that the old man took him 1,000 kilometers up to the top of a mountain and asked him to go paragliding. But he was afraid of heights. Forced by the old man, he screams and takes to the air, the furthest he's ever been from the ground, while the old man enjoys escaping. When he gets home, his brother comes to him for help with a problem. The house is a mess and they all need him. The old man seemed to know everything and said he wouldn't be selfish and let him take care of it. He knows what the old man means and that he should follow his dreams even though he has made mistakes. He said goodbye to everyone, including the old man's secretary. Later, he heard that the old man had found a new caregiver, but none of them were satisfied. One day the housekeeper called and said the old man was breathing rapidly and asked him to hurry over. He went, greeted him with a smile, and then took the old man for a ride. The next day, he takes the old man to the beach and tells him he has a surprise. Then he leaves the old man at the diner and he can move. He calls the old man's pen pal in and they finally meet. Then they got married and had 2 daughters. He also had 3 children, but not with a female secretary. That's the story of him and the old man. The old man didn't mind that he was black and poor, and he didn't pity the old man, so they became friends for life.